Hello, and welcome back to College Disc Golf News with me, your host, Nickens. Today, we're going to be breaking down everything that happened this past weekend at the Midwest Collegiate Takeover. Our first, basically, probably top tier college disc golf event of the year. A lot of really cool stuff that happened this weekend. So much to talk about. So many great teams were there. And so I am super excited to talk about it and let you know everything that happened. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, let me know you're liking the content, and it helps grow the channel and helps me out a little bit. So make sure you do that. And let's go ahead and jump.
So as I was talking about, this weekend, kind of made it clear. I was like, I really do think that, and in my predictions, I was like, this is really going to be about Emporia State versus Cincinnati, and kind of there were a few teams in the mix for those last couple of D2 bids. There was Milligan. There was Illinois State, who already had their bid. I was thinking Kansas State might be good, but you also had Arkansas, Illinois. You had Iowa State, K-State, a lot of those good teams in there in the mix, and so it was really going to be about those things. That was my prediction, at least, and as you can tell just based on the first round, that kind of came to fruition, right? It was kind of Emporia State, Cincinnati at the top, Illinois State kind of right behind them, and then you had a tier of teams kind of below them all around, kind of double digits down. So Emporia State, Cincinnati tied at 14 down after the first round. Then you had Illinois State, home favorites, 13 down. Milligan at 11 down. And then I kind of had a surprise. Missouri State, 10 down. These guys played really well at D3 last year. Played well this weekend, at least for the first day, so congrats to them. Huge shout out. They ended up falling off after this, so you won't see them much after this, but had a great first round there. Then you had Iowa State, very close to winning their bid at the Minnesota Collegiate at 10 down, and then you had a host of teams at 9 down, Kansas, Arkansas, Illinois C team, funnily enough, 9 down. Their A team was playing in D2. We'll talk about that later. And then St. Thomas, who I thought was going to do really well in D2 last week, ended up falling apart a little bit. But they played well, showed out in this first round. Going to talk about singles because this all happened in the same day, whereas D1, D2 only played Northwoods Black Shorts day one, so kind of a different tournament to kind of talk about. So let's talk about the D1 single side of things. And man, they tore Northwoods Blue up. Carson Fowler and Bradley Caldwell end up tied for 10 down, but you had a host of people from 9 down to 6 down, about 20 people total. Pretty crazy. TJ Real and Chris Fisher, the new guy at Cincinnati, kind of helping that roster. Man, Cincinnati did not pick up some scrub. Chris Fisher can absolutely play. He was good. Micah Tartro, who was filling in for one of their guys at ESU, not a slouch either. Played 9 down. Kester Grimm, who goes to Iowa State. I'm so sorry, Kester. He was at 8 down. Ilkin Grow at Cincinnati, 8 down. Carter Aarons, only 7 down, still played really well. Huger Dwyer and Cole Clem at 6 down. And if you're looking on screen right now, there's a whole host of guys from 6 down and 5 down. Dominic Fisher of Purdue, Tanner Young, 6 down. Oliver Enelgby of Wisconsin. Trevor Schneider, 6 down. Nico Schurz, both from Ohio State, 6 down. Kyle Rowley, 6 down. Ethan Bishop, 6 down. Isaiah Esquivel, 5 down. Sam Howie, 5 down. James Blocker, 5 down. This was just kind of everybody kind of in this mix. But as you can tell, Iowa State, Illinois State, Emporia State, Cincinnati, kind of all on top, gaining the most strokes during singles. Now, you may have noticed that I have not mentioned the playoff between Bradley Caldwell and Carson Fowler. Just go ahead and watch this clip.
Come on, Carson. Let's go. Come on.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Run it in! Run it in! Come on! Come on! Let's go! Roll bird!
And yeah, first hole rings it up on the playoff. An ace to walk off. So crazy. That wasn't even the only ace on the day. Brian Cullenhorn of Kansas in D2 ended up acing it. So congrats to them. And congrats to what an impressive round from Carson. Just kept it clean, 1033 rated, tied with Bradley, and then first during a playoff, pretty nervy playing against one of the top rated guys of Cincinnati, a national champ, two-time national champ, rings it up. So congrats to Illinois State and to Carson Foley for an impressive performance there during singles. So here are the round two kind of singles average scores. As you can tell, you had Cincinnati and Emporia State pretty much on the same playing field, but Cincinnati ended up gaining one stroke up on Emporia State. Illinois State gained some strokes too. They were able to separate themselves from everybody else at 17 down. Wasn't able to keep up with the pace of Emporia and Cincinnati though. And then you had kind of a host of teams in this 14 to 10 stroke area where they're like, okay, they were in striking distance of this fifth place bid. So you had Iowa State at 14 down. They were one of those ahead of the curve, able to get the fourth place and secure themselves a bid. Then you had Milligan, Kansas State, Wisconsin all at 13 to 11 down. Milligan in the lead in that. Kansas State and Wisconsin at 11 down. They were in striking distance. And then some outside shots with Missouri, Purdue, and St. Thomas. They were all at 9 down. It really was going to come down to who is able to control themselves and able to get ahead during the teams round at Northwoods Black on Sunday. So let's go ahead and talk about the battle between first and second place. This was a tight one at the top. You had Cincinnati and Emporia State battling out for the win. Cincinnati birdies the first 4 holes, all right? Emporia State only birdies 1 out of those 4. So they're already down immediately. Already down 4 strokes going into the next 13 holes. They have to make it up. Cincinnati only gets 2 more birdies between 5 and 15. They birdie 8 and they birdie 10. Cincinnati just slows down, and Emporia State, they're able to claw back into it. They get a birdie on 6, and then they go 8 through 11, birdie, 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 birdie 13, birdie 15, and all of a sudden, with 3 holes to go, Emporia State, they are up a stroke on Cincinnati. I mean, this is the time. You have, higher rated players. You brought Carter Aarons in for a reason. And they dry up. They go par, par, par. In Cincinnati, birdie 16 and birdie 17. So they are able to go 1 stroke ahead of Emporia State. And they ended up taking it down 30 to 29 over Emporia. An amazing battle. Again, a battle we're probably going to see again in the future. This is not something that is going to be a one-off event, that is for sure. So very excited for this. Congrats to Cincinnati for taking it down, who I predicted. And Emporia State, a strong finish. Again, I knew these teams were going to be separated by almost nothing. And you know what? Cincinnati got the best of them this weekend. But we will see this battle for times to come, and I'm excited to see what happens. On the other side of the bids, Illinois State easily cruises to third place. They've already got their bid secured from the Minnesota Collegiate, so they are not in the running for this. Now, let's go into the other 2 positions. So 4th and 5th place. Emporia State got the first bid. They are now the next 2 bids to be able to get ahead in this, right? They're the ones that, hey, if you get 4th or 5th, you're earning the D1 bid. You're securing your spot in College Disc Golf Nationals. It was a struggle round for Iowa State, only going 2 down. They started off the front half, not first front 9, 5 down, all right? They end only 2 down. They only gained 2 strokes. They got the birdie. They got the par on 12, That's huge, but they weren't able to really pick up much of anything, taking a bogey on 10, a bogey on 13, a bogey on 15. They even finished out with a bogey on 18. A struggle for them, but 2 down was enough to get it. Now, you know that Milligan had a 2-stroke lead over Kansas and Wisconsin. Well, Kansas and Wisconsin had a little bit of a struggle around themselves. They both had 2 bogeys, but they had enough birdies. Milligan had a very clean round, only 1 bogey, and that was the difference. They only get 3 birdies though, and that's enough to send these 3 teams into a playoff. And at the end of it, after 4 holes, Kansas State comes out on top. And man, that is demoralizing for Milligan. Wisconsin, it's their first event of the year, but I think Milligan definitely they are a talented group of guys, and it's unfortunate that they just weren't able to bring it together on Northwoods Blag. It's a tough course, so I'm not worried. I think Wisconsin and Milligan will probably be receiving bids in the future. They've got other opportunities to do so, but man, what a heartbreak in the D1 division for Milligan and for Wisconsin. They play well all weekend, and it just comes down to a playoff, and they were playing on a course that they just hadn't played so well with Milligan, and Wisconsin was just not able to keep up. Kansas State prevails, and they ended up taking up that next D1 spot. Congrats to them. Mid-American Conference looking really solid this year. All right, we're going to go to D2. And man, Cincinnati's D1 team might as well just be other teams' D1 teams because they came out on Northwoods Black. This is the shorts, though. It's about 2,000 feet less, so take about 100 foot off of every hole-ish. Yeah, they were able to play pretty stinking well. They birdied the first 6 holes, got a turkey from 8 through 10, kept it clean, an easy 12-down round for them. University of Northern Iowa and Southern Illinois Edwardsville, they had some good rounds, a clean round at 10 down. Then you had Bradley, and a surprise for me, Tennessee Tech. I've seen these guys. I like these guys a lot. They came out and they were on fire. They were able to beat Milligan's B team pretty handily and in this first round. And this is the first time, I want to say, all season that they did that. So huge shout outs to them. Milligan University at 6 down, they were tied with Kansas State's B team, as well as Kansas. And then you had Purdue and Kentucky, who earned their bid last week at Mid-Atlantic. They're coming out here just for fun, just to hang out, play at Northwoods, and they played really well. So a solid round for them. So really, as you can already tell, Cincinnati separating themselves from the pack. And University of Northern Iowa and Southern Illinois also trying to separate themselves as well. But it was going to come down to day 2, and they started off with singles. And man, singles can often be a make or break for the season, especially going for these lower divisions. Usually it evens out in D1. There's so many good players, but D2 can be a lot of stroke swings over here. And that is definitely what happened. Cincinnati separated themselves with Kyle Terwilliger and Drew Cobble shooting 9 and 8 down, stealing the first 2 podium spots. Western Michigan's Jordan Killingback played really well and clean 7 down on the day. And then you had a lot of guys from this Midwest area: Dalton Hastings, Illinois, Hunter Niemeyer from University of Northern Illinois, 5 down. Stephen Meza, the Southern Illinois guy, there as well at 4 down. Xander Anselmi, 4 down. Derek Thompson, who won at Minnesota, 3 down, pretty solid from him, leading his team. Carson Miller at 3 down, and then Samuel Rivard at 3 down as well. And as you kind of tell, Cincinnati and Northern Illinois, they were able to kind of gain some strokes, but University of Southern Illinois was not up there. Bradley, who we mentioned, was not up there. And Tennessee Tech was also not up there, so some of their guys kind of falling behind. And as we take a look to the team scores heading into the final round, Milligan gained some strokes back, had all their guys around 2 down. Tennessee Tech had some guys that kind of brought them down a little bit, 2 strokes over, but still in the running. Bradley, still in the running, had 1 stroke over. Kansas had a couple strokes over, so they're back at 4 down. Southern Illinois, Edwardsville, man, starting down 10 down and then going 7 over in singles. That kind of takes them out. So does Illinois and Illinois State, man. That is about 5 strokes back. There's a possibility, but, I think Northwoods Blue is a pretty scoreable course, especially for D2. Only really these guys in the range of Milligan, Tech, Bradley, and Kansas kind of have a shot to take down the last bid. Cincinnati at 16 down, clear ahead. Northern Iowa at 10 down, 3 strokes ahead of Milligan. I mean, they're pretty much, unless something disastrous happens, they're going to get that bid. So it really comes down to who is going to take advantage and take that third bid spot. So as I mentioned earlier, Cincinnati, they pretty much had this on lock unless something crazy happened, but yeah, you already know probably. Cincinnati had to shoot just a solid 8 down, clean. They win by 6 strokes over Northern Iowa, who shot 9 down, a pretty solid round from then. So then it was going to come down to who was going to shoot well out of that last 3 teams. And Milligan started off really, really slow. And that slow start continued. They were able to bring it back at the end, but man, 3 bogeys on the day in team doubles, 1 on 11, and a double bogey on 17. If they have that back, they get to 15 down, but no bogeys on the day, and they tie at 16 down for the eventual bid winner. University of Illinois goes 10 down, but they were so far back, even with a 10 down, that's only enough to tie Milligan. Bradley goes 9 down, but they have a bogey on 8. And Tennessee Tech, out of nowhere, is able to win this thing for themselves, win the D2 bid. What an impressive performance for them. And you know what it comes down to? They had a throw in on 11, an eagle on 11 to push them over the hump. Now, they didn't even need it. I'm just saying, they threw it in. Even if they get a birdie on that one, they're still 1 stroke clear of Bradley. They ended up getting 16 down. A huge, huge win for them. That's so comfortable now. They can chase a D1 now, and impressive stuff from them. And so for the second time in a row, both the D1 team and the D2 team for Milligan just, unfortunately, they put all the work in the first 2 rounds, and in the third round just aren't able to close it out. And it's unfortunate. I know they're licking their wounds right now, but this is a team, again, that is going to be able to get a bid in the future. So I'm sure they'll be fine. Illinois, they put their A team down here. They should have performed better. They know that. And so it's Bradley close, but no cigar this weekend. Again, you can be on the lookout for those guys to eventually come back. Let's talk about some ladies' scores. There was only 2 teams, both from Illinois, fully there, so I'm not talking about teams this time. But I want to make sure I highlight the battle between Emily Bashir and Abriel Smith. They were coming down to the wire in their singles round, and man, it was a close one. But Emily Bashir was able to close it out. Able to just keep it the clean a little bit more. Both of them had some big blow-ups, but were able to kind of tone those down. And Emily ends up winning 813 rated, not too shabby at all. That is currently, I want to say, around 40 points below her rating. She could have played better, but she is still a very solid player. Top 10 last year at Nationals, so look for her to be on the lookout for you all. Abriel Smith just had some big numbers on a couple of holes. Triple bogey on 14, double bogey on 15, a double bogey on 7, and just wasn't able to keep it clean as much, had more bogeys. Emily had some big blow-ups, but especially on 2. I think if she doesn't take that, 5 on 2, which is only 198-foot hole, that is probably a little bit more of a comfortable win for her. But sometimes those are the ones that get you. So, but congrats to Emily, and congrats to Abriel for playing well. Keely Oldham from Iowa State, it'll take cleanly third over Amelia Isaacs and Kyra Sims, who won in an Appalachian regional event not long ago. Just new to the course, and I think, she just had a difficult time on this layout. She did not play up to the standard that I know she can play at, and look to her to bounce back, hopefully, here soon. Let's talk about the D3 teams. This is going to be a little bit shorter. I'm going to kind of compact this. Really, it was a battle between Milligan and Tennessee Tech. Purdue and Illinois State after the first round were pretty far behind. Even after singles on day 2, they had a big mountain to climb between Milligan and Tech. And Milligan ends up taking it on the back of a Harrison Green redown singles round, able to carry his team. Owen Gibson was also playing really well, and Tech just not able to close it out in the doubles round for the third day. Just did not get all the birdies they needed on Northwoods Blue. Milligan able to play really solidly. Illinois State and Purdue, they were over par at certain points, but they played really well, able to get themselves back into the mix, but it was too much of a hill to climb, and Milligan ends up taking their first D3 win of the season, the number 1 D3 team in the country at the moment, at least in my opinion. I'm excited to see how this plays out in the future, but just wanted to briefly mention them, shout them out, shout out our D3 boys, grinding it out, having some fun, and yeah, that is it for D3. That is going to do it for this weekend. I'm going to try and have some power ranking stuff out here soon if I get enough time, and as well as predictions. I'm also going to hopefully talk about some stuff going on this weekend. We have 4 more events. It is a busy time in my life, so I'm trying to get some things done, try to get some content out for y'all. If I don't do it, I'm sorry. I'm really trying my best to get stuff out to you, but man, I'm just drowning in work at the moment, and currently I don't make a living off of this. Maybe one day, but at the moment I'm doing this for free, so I'm going to figure it out. But if you like the content, make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.